In atheist China, this is as close as some people get to a religious pilgrimage. Millions of Chinese each year come to the hometown of Chairman Mao Zedong. It's 70 years ago this week that he won a civil war and started the longest surviving communist government in history.
I'm so happy. China is so big and powerful. It makes me proud. I really love China.
Many tourists are bussed in on subsidised trips to see Mao's old home and to stock up on Mao memorabilia. Farmer Xiao Yuan Shui is a return visitor. He's made the 1.5-hour drive from his village to pay respect to the founding father ahead of the National Day.
The changes in China have shaken the sky and the earth. Our country has become more stable, more prosperous, more democratic. Now with Chairman Xi, our society is making more progress.
Chairman Mao is still revered across China, even though it was only after he died and his disastrous policies were ditched that the economy finally started to take off. Now the provincial capital down the road, Changsha, looks like so many cities across China, full of new buildings and a new middle class. It's cities like this that have propelled China to where it is now. Millions of farmers who once lived in rural poverty have for decades now abandoned their plots to take jobs in these ever-growing metropolises. The urban push is now slowing down, but it continues to change the face of rural China.
Never heard.
The pace of change has inspired some to preserve the past. Young Pei Ming was born just 2 years before communist troops entered Shanghai, where he now runs a propaganda poster museum devoted to the old days.
I always believe the great history embraced the great art.
He feels today's much more commercial China lacks the emotion of those initial communist years, but says people now enjoy freedoms unimaginable in those early days. But China is now going through a nationalistic revival, inspired by the country's growing economic and military might. President Xi Jinping wants patriotism to be China's faith, embedding it deep in schools, the media, and all facets of life. State media has used blasphemy to describe those who insult the national flag and is pushing an increasingly uncompromising line on China's disputes abroad. At a time when China's government is projecting such a strong and patriotic display to the outside world, it's also showing deep insecurities here at home. Censorship is so strict that the country's internet is often much more like an intranet, largely cut off from the outside world. And this constant need for control is moving well beyond the political realm. President Xi's government is clamping down on individual self-expression, imposing new rules this year that censored tattoos and earrings on popular programs. It's part of a morality drive that appears out of step with the country's youth.
A tattoo is indeed a form of self-expression, and it's very powerful. I think the biggest reason for the ban is there's less communication, less knowledge about tattooing.
Business is still strong at this tattoo shop in China's capital. The official discouragement of inked skin and the pressure to conform doesn't appear to be cutting through. 70 years into communist rule and the tight controls remain, even if that can't extend over everything the younger generation wants to do. Bill Birtles, ABC News, Beijing.